Namaskar, very good evening. I hope you had a very good weekend. Thank you for joining Sai Satcharita Parayana. Looking forward to a lovely week this week and seeing how beautiful the teachings of Baba is going to be. And also this week is very special because we are going to have Krishna Janmashtami celebrations tomorrow. I hope you're all equally as excited as I am. Thank you once again. Let us continue from where we stopped. Jai Shri Krishna Guru. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha, Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha, Om Shri Saraswataya Namaha, Om Shri Guru Dattatreya Namaha, Om Shri Mahalakshmi Namaha, Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Chapter 9, the Sai Satcharita Parayana, the life and teachings of Shri Sai Baba. Consequences of disobeying Baba, Baba's alms collection and Panchashuna and other sins, stories of the devotee, Tarkhad. My obeisance to Shri Ganesh, to Shri Saraswati and Shri Guru Maharaj, to the family deity, to Shri Sita Ramachandra. My most humble obeisance. I bow in reverence to the most venerable Guru, Shri Sai Nath. So we were doing the story of the devotee, Tarkhad. Last week we finished with how does Baba collects alms and what is Panchashuna all about, and how does Baba absolves the Panchashuna sins. It was the cook who used to serve the remaining sugar candy on his plate every day when he sat down to his meal, that itself serving as purification of the food. But on that day, for some reason, he was in a hurry while performing the puja, and the offering of Naivedya was forgotten. At once, Tarkhad got up from the meal, full of remorse and prostrating before Sai's picture, said with tearful eyes, "Baba, what is this Maya of yours? How did you stupefy my mind so? Really, it was just a mechanical exercise that you made me perform. But now, please grant me your forgiveness first. It is no mere bewilderment of mine, but a great sin that I have committed, and I am filled with remorse. Oh, it is my fault, entirely my fault. Shameless as I am, be compassionate to me, O Maharaj." He prostrated at Baba's feet in the picture and with a heart overcome with regret and repentance said, "O compassionate Maharaj, have mercy on me." So saying, he wrote a letter to the son in an helpless, wretched state of mind, saying, "Entreat Baba's forgiveness. Say that a great sin has been committed at my hands. Pray for his mercy on one who has totally surrendered to him. With these words, invoke his compassion and pray for an assurance of forgiveness and grace on behalf of this humble servant." While this was happening at Bandra, at about 200 miles away in Shirdi, the news reached instantly. Listen to what Baba said there. Here is the actual proof of Sai Maharaj's knowledge of past, present and the future, that knew no barriers of space and time. Although the boy was at Shirdi all this while, listen, O listeners, carefully to what happened when he went to pay obeisance to Baba on that same day and at the same time. As the boy came very eagerly with his mother and bowed at Baba's feet, he was quite astonished to hear what Sai said to his mother. "What could I do, O mother, today, as every day? I went to Bandra, but there was no rice, no gruel, nothing to eat or drink, and hungry I had to return. Just see the Rinanu Bandha, the ties of the past births. Though the door was closed, I entered at my own sweet will. Who is to prevent me? The master was not at home. My intestines were groaning with hunger. But in the same instant, at the height of noon, I turned back without a morsel." On hearing these words, the son at once guessed that most probably his father forgot and missed making the food offering. He pleaded with Baba, "Let me go home." But Baba would hear none of it. Instead, he made him offer puja there itself. The same day, the son sent a detailed letter from Shirdi, on reading which the father's heart simply melted. The letter from Bandra reached Shirdi too. The son was amazed. His eyes too filled with tears, which freely flowed down the cheek. Just see this wonderful sport of Sai. How will love not well up in the heart? Can there be such a heart of stone that will not melt by this? It was the loving mother of the same boy who was blessed by Sai Baba while she was once at Shirdi, and now listen to this marvelous tale. So it's very beautiful and profound ways of how the great gurus forgive and they will make up for it. In case you have faltered, whether you commit to, whether when you promise giving something or when you promise to make an offering and you have forgotten, the sage themselves will remind you of it and make you offer, whatever that you have committed or something equivalent to that. Their ways are incomprehensible. They're so compassionate. They will never let you falter. They will never let you commit any kind of sin that you will have to suffer for it. So this is the profoundness of this great gurus. I will narrate a very beautiful incident which I have experienced with my Krishna Guruji. There was a time when I told him that I'm going to offer him something, and I completely had forgotten about that commitment. And every single time when I asked him, I want to buy this for you, and he will say no. So there's a very beautiful way how the sages and saints work. When you ask them, can I offer this for you or should I buy this for you? They will always say no. You should never ask. But if you think even within your heart that I want to make this offering or I need to do this to my Guruji or the divine or the God, whatever that you think, you need to just go and do it. You don't ask or take their permission in doing it. So it had been many years that every single time I picked that object to be offered to my Guruji, he would say, no, I don't need this. I don't need this. And finally there came a point, I said, I'm going to buy it for myself. So my Guruji will, when I say I want it for me, he's the first one to go and fulfill that desire. He's always looking to, giving what people want. And that's who he is. That's the great master. They are divine beings. They are always there to give. They are not there interested in getting something. It doesn't matter to them. And then I said, no, I want this for me. And when I ordered that, or when that object came in, then I made an offering, then saying, Guruji, this is for you. So this is how it works. But at some point, I have committed to offer that object to my Guruji, whatever that is. So when you make that commitment, even it could be a prasad. When you say, I'm going to offer this to my God, I'm going to make the Naivedya. I'm going to make the Naivedya of, say, goat shira, or you can say, I'm going to offer basundi. But if you do not keep up that word, it is a sin. So the divine, since you should not incur that sin, or you should not fall down in your commitment, they will remind you, and they on their own will remind you and make you offer that particular thing to them. This is the greatness of the divine being. And once it so happened, when my Guruji went to somebody's place and he just was testing them. And when they didn't offer him, initially he said, no, I have to leave. See, you do not make the gurus go away without them eating something, or at least even a glass of water. You should always offer something to them. You cannot send them empty. And one such instance happened that he just walked out. And at that point in time, that's a grave sin. But this was just a test. But what my Guruji did? At a later point, he goes to that person's home and he has a full meal. Why? Because the other person should not fall down and they should not incur or accrue any karma or sin of not feeding the great saint when they had come home. So this is a very important lesson. Please know that when anybody comes home, we say in Indian, in our Sanatan Dharma, our culture, as per our scriptures, is said, Atiti Daivo Bhava, means whoever visits your home, they are equivalent to God. They could be any guest. It could be even your enemy. Don't look at anybody as an enemy, or there's no friend or foe. Whoever comes to your house, please treat them like Atiti Daivo Bhava. The guests are gods. So you should always offer something to them. This is how the divine work. And why they do what they do, you cannot fathom, you cannot tell, even you cannot make a judgment about them. That is how they work. So this is the greatness of these divine beings. She was in the dining hall, food was served, and everybody was about to begin, when suddenly at the hour of the noon, a hungry dog came to the door where the lady sat. The lady at once gave a quarter of the bhakri from her plate to the dog, but at the same moment, there also came a hungry pig smeared all over with mud, whom too she fed the bhakri. It all happened so naturally that the lady soon forgot all about it. But in the afternoon, Baba himself brought up the subject. In the afternoon, after lunch, when the lady came to the mosque as usual and sat down at some distance, Baba said to her affectionately, "Mother, you fed me today, and with all that food, my stomach is full, almost to the throat. I was suffering acutely from hunger, but you appeased me by giving me food. This is what you should always do, for truly this alone will stand you in good stead. It can never be that sitting here in the mosque I would speak an untruth. Always have such compassion. First feed those who are hungry, then eat yourself. Preserve this truth carefully in your heart." This lady could not understand what Sai Samarth was saying. She was wondering what could he mean, for his words are never without significance. So she said, "How is it possible that I have given you food? I myself depend on others and eat whatever I get after paying a price for it. After eating the bhakri given to me so lovingly, I am satiated most truly. Nay, I am still bletching with that satiation. When you sat down to lunch, you suddenly saw that a hungry dog with an empty stomach who came to the door. Know that I am one with him. And so also the pig that you saw suffering from pangs of hunger and smeared all over with mud. I am one with him too." As she heard Baba's words, the lady was quite astonished in her mind. So many dogs, pigs, cats roam around. Is Baba one with them all? Sometimes I'm a dog and sometimes a pig. Sometimes I'm a cow, sometimes a cat and sometimes an ant. A fly, an aquatic creature. In such various forms do I move about in this world. Know that I like only him who sees me in all the living beings. So give up the sense of differentiation. This is the way to worship me." Oh my God, this is so profound. That is so true. You know, the divine is both the macrocosm and the microcosm. They can come as a dust particle to a gigantic, giant as well. We cannot make out in what form they can come. Through which body they can don and manifest in front of you. This is the profoundness. And here Baba is saying a very beautiful lesson, which is, do not differentiate between anybody. To see God in everything is the most important thing. Lord Shri Krishna also says that I am the Paramatma who resides in everybody's heart. So it is important to see the divine in every being. I'll narrate a very beautiful experience of my own, and this happened to me many years ago. One day, when I was in Singapore, I tell my Guruji, today I'm going to. It was a Thursday. We celebrate Thursday as a Guru's Day. On that day marks a very auspicious prayer. So every Thursday we offer it's not every day we offer the Naivedya, but Thursday we make something, a sweet dish, or you can even buy some sweets and offer, because the divine beings love sweets and Lord Shri Krishna loves anything that is sweet. So when I offered it to the God, before that I told my Guruji, please come and accept the Naivedya, the offering that I have made for you. And I was wondering, I don't know how will he come? And he says, yeah, I will come and accept. I will be there. And the doubt in my mind, how is he going to come? There's nobody. And in Singapore, at that time, I didn't know anyone. I didn't have friends also. And I didn't invite anybody home. I was all by myself. So how is he going to come and accept the food? The Naivedya. So this was a question in my mind. You wouldn't believe. The moment I finished the prayers and the prasad was offered, strangely enough, when I was removing the tulsi from the prasad, I think there was a morsel or two of the prasad dropped on the floor. I didn't see it. I had walked probably 5 feet, maybe 10 steps, and then something said, turn back, I'm here. I'm accepted you. I'm eating your offering. And when I looked back, I couldn't see anybody, but I looked down. And then there was this tiny black ant which was eating that offering. So I'm like, Krishna, the way I was excited was, oh Lord Krishna, you've come in the form of ant. Thank you so much for accepting my offering. And that is so profound. So you need the grace to understand how the divine beings come. You need to be able to see them in that object. That is what Baba is saying here. I am one with the universe, because that universe is me alone. All the entire creations has emanated from this being, from the Lord Shri Krishna himself, from his entire being it's emanated. So there's no way that they are not one with the Brahman, the entire universe as well. So they are both the manifest and the unmanifest as well. So this is how they work. So they might be sitting in one place, but they're all knowing, they're all pervading. They're omnipotent, omnipresent and omniscient. This is the truth, and that is why it is very important to see God in everybody. We should not discriminate between anyone. We should not judge by an individual's nature, their appearance. What here Baba says is the pig which was smeared with full mud. So when you look at an ugly pig, how can you offer a bhakri? Tell me. So that is what he says. He sees the pure heart. When somebody is hungry, we need to feed them first, and then only we need to partake of the food. It is not first filling my own belly. And today in the current times, there are a lot of people, they have become homeless, they have become jobless, they don't have 2 square meal, forget about 2 square, they don't have a 1 square meal a day. There is so much of disparity in this world. So we who have, a good 3 meal a day, we have been blessed with, having a good life. We have 3 square meals a day, we have a roof on our head, we have good clothes to wear. We should be very grateful and thankful for everything that we have. And can we offer a part of it to those who are in need? That is what Baba is teaching us. And it is very important that in whatever capacity, if you can share that even half bakri with somebody and satiate their hunger, that is the greatest merit that you can ever earn. That's the greatest goodness that you can ever have. Imagine today, there are a lot of people, when I read the news, I feel very sad. The world has come to a standstill. A lot of industries are suffering because there's no buying, there's no selling, nobody wants to do anything, and everybody is sick. When I say everybody, I'm just telling the people who are fallen sick. There's many people have undergoing their own challenges and troubles. It's a troubling time for all of us. But how do we eradicate it? How do we overcome it? That is what we have to do. And today, who are in a better position, they need to go out there and do some amount of help to those in need. It is very important. Please help for those whom you can. It is very important. We, as an individual, as this human being, if we are not compassionate, then who can be compassionate? So guys, all the dear devotees and disciples, whoever is listening to this satsang, and I'm sure you're doing whatever that you can in your own capacity, but please do go and offer whatever help that you can to the needy and the poor. It is very important. Like Lord Jesus has said, give to those who can never ever repay back to you. Similarly, Baba emphasizes in all of his teachings, wealth is to establish dharma. It is not for us to accumulate and merry make. It's not just I, me, myself. It is thou. It is this world. This entire creation we need to be compassionate with. So do whatever that you can within your capacity. That's a sincere request and ask. Thank you. These were not just words. They were the purest nectar. Listening to them, the lady was choked with emotion. A lump rose in her throat and her eyes filled with tears of joy. There is another sweet tale about this lady's loving devotion, which is also a mark of Sai's oneness with his devotees. Once, Purandare, another devotee, set out for Shirdi with his wife and children. This lady, that is Mrs. Tarkad, very lovingly sent with him some brinjals for Baba. She requested Purandare's wife to prepare bharit, that is dressing the roasted brinjal with seasoning. for Baba with one brinjal and with the other to slice and fry it crispy with seasoning, that is etc., called kachriya, and serve a liberal helping thereof to Baba. Alright, kachriya means it's a fritter. Alright, she said as she took the brinjals. On reaching Shirdi, she took bharit to serve Baba at lunchtime after the aarti. As usual, she offered naivedya and went away, leaving the plate of food for Baba. After collecting together everybody's naivedya, Baba then sat down to the meal. When he tasted the bharit, everyone thought that he found it delicious, so that he then felt like having fried brinjal slices, for he said, "Bring them just now." A message went to Radha Krishna Bai at once that Baba wished to have fried brinjal slices and was waiting for them to begin his lunch, and they were at a loss what to do. This was really not the reason for brinjals. Then how can a dish be prepared? A frantic search began for Purandare's wife because of the bharit she had served. For it was in the plate that she had brought, that bharit. So maybe in her baggage there are some more brinjals, they thought. And hence, when she was asked, the mystery behind the sudden desire for fried brinjal slices was solved, and everyone understood why Baba had such a great love for them. The lady explained that she had made bharit out of one brinjal and served it in the afternoon, and had thought she would fry the slices of the other one later, which she had already sliced for the purpose. Later on, when everyone came to know by and by the story of brinjals right from its beginning, they were all amazed to see Sai's all-pervasiveness. On another occasion, in the month of December, in the year 1915, this same lady, Mrs. Tarkad, sent a peda, a sweet meat made with sugar and milk, for Baba with great affection. Balaram Mankar had passed away, and his son was to go to Shirdi for performing the obsequies, and came to Tarkad to tell him. He came to Tarkad to stay there. He was going to Shirdi, so Tarkad's wife wanted to send with him something for Baba. As she searched in the house, there was nothing to send but just one peda, and that too had been already offered as naivedya. But the boy was in a hurry to leave. Moreover, that boy was in mourning. The one peda in the house was also used already as naivedya, but she sent the same with him to offer to Sai, saying, "There is nothing else, so now take this peda and offer it with love. Sai will eat it with relish." Govindji, Balram Mankar's son, took the peda with him, but when he went for Baba's darshan, it was forgotten at his lodging. Baba was patient with him. Later in the afternoon, the boy came again in Sai's coat, but as before he forgot again and came to the mosque empty-handed. Baba tried asking him, "What have you brought for me?" And when he replied, "Nothing," then he reminded him gently, "Has no one given you anything for me?" "No," he said. Then Sai Samarth asked him directly, "My boy, did not mother very lovingly send with you some sweetmeats for me when you left home?" It was only then that he remembered. And, oh, he felt ever so ashamed of himself. How could he have forgotten it? His head hung in shame. He prayed for forgiveness, and touching Baba's feet, he set out at once. Running, he went to the lodging, brought the peda and offered it to the Sai. The moment it came in the hand, Baba at once put it in his mouth and gratified the mother's feeling. It is thus that this Sai, the great Mahatma, glorifies love and devotion by giving each devotee the experience according to his faith. Another significance that emerges from these stories is that one should always see God in all living creatures. This is also recognized by all the Shastras, and this is the demonstrated conclusion here too. Isn't so beautiful? When you give with that absolute pure heart and faith, even a leaf of tulsi, Lord Shri Krishna says, "I will accept it very wholeheartedly. I don't need you to give me anything fancy, gold, diamond, or whatever, big stuff, or even the fanciest of the food, nothing. That love, that one peda is that lady, the mother's love for Sai Baba. He's saying, right, whatever you give me with a pure heart, with full devotion and love, he very graciously accepted. The reason he hates it is because he wants to satisfy that mother's love. She feels happy. His devotee is very happy. Similarly, I have seen my Guruji, no matter what anybody offers him, he'll never say no. He'll very graciously accept, because why? It is their love. See, we cannot judge anybody by what they give and how they give. It is that love. Guruji has always taught us, and he'll teach me as well. Do not judge what somebody gives. See, that is their love. It is their way of showing love. Somebody has a different way of showing love. Everybody, to each his own. And they would come with that sense of, I want to offer this to my Guruji, or I want to offer this to my divine being. So the divine accepts everything. Whether they eat it or not, whether they like it or not, it's not the point. It's about that love that they see, the effort somebody has put in giving that offering, in making that offering. And if there are times, there are certain things my Guruji wouldn't eat, but when somebody offers it, even if he doesn't, he'll just take a bite from that. Why? Because that is the naivedya somebody has given to him, and he'll bless that, and then he'll say, please distribute it amongst everybody, and everybody eat. So he eats. His way is, he might just put a morsel of it in his mouth. But when we eat, all of us eat, he's eating through us. That is the profoundness. And never ever discount this. How the divine being accepts what you wholeheartedly, with absolute love, with a pure heart offer. He very graciously blesses that and accepts your offering. This is the greatness of such great being. And like we are summarizing here, the another most important lesson is to see God in everything. Let us not judge anybody by their nature, how they look, how they behave. That is not the criteria. It is to see their pure heart. It's important to see their pure heart. See, sometimes I understand people, like my Guruji teaches us, like they're ignorant, they don't know. And at such times, we who have the knowledge, or we who have the understanding, should always be forgiving. And we should overlook some of these things. So I go into this very interesting dichotomy. Sometimes people might misbehave and that gets to us. But the whole aspect of the spiritual knowledge is, we should not let our mind sway. We should not let our mind go into this yo-yo between the pairs of opposites. We should always just be centered and surrender to the divine. It is none of our business to judge anybody. We are not the father of this universe, or we are not the mother of this universe. We have not created anybody. So why should we judge? It is the divine who has created. So let him be the judge, no? Let him, he knows what is best for everybody. So this is what it means. So we have to see God in everybody and everything. And know that when you offer anything with the purest of your heart, it is accepted by the divine. So don't think my gift is small, my offering is big. It doesn't matter. It is the love that the divine sees. It is your pure heart that they look at it. Now in listening to the next chapter, you will come to know how Baba lived, where, at which place he slept, etc. Listen to it attentively. Hemadpant surrenders at Sai's feet. The listeners should reflect with reverence on the stories narrated, contemplate on them, for it will be beneficial to them. So here ends the chapter 9. So we have 30 minutes more, so let's start the new chapter, chapter 10. The Mahima of Shri Sai Samarth. He who is engaged in the welfare of all the people, but is himself forever one with the Brahman, remember him ceaselessly with a loving heart. He whose mere remembrance is enough to free us from the entanglement of birth and death is the best among all the means of redemption, a means which does not cost even a farthing, and with the least effort, more easily and naturally comes to hand the fruit which is not trivial by any means. Hence, while the bodily organs are yet strong and healthy, every passing moment should be fully utilized for achieving the goal. All other gods are illusory, unreal. The Guru alone is the God eternal. Once you repose your faith in him, he will help you overcome even the predestined. Where there is pure, sincere service of the Guru, there is a total extirpation of worldly life. No hair-splitting discussions of nyaya, mimamsa, etc., or any other strenuous intellectual effort is required. When the Sadguru captains the ship, the faithful devotees overcome all the threefold afflictions such as the Adibhuta, the Adhyatmic and the Adidaivik. To cross over this ocean of worldly affairs, you need to trust the helmsman. The same trust is to be reposed in your Guru to cross the ocean of life. Seeing the devotee's faith and devotion, he, the Guru, gives the supreme knowledge made as easy of comprehension as if it rested in the palm of your hand, and enables you to attain with natural ease moksha, which is characterized by pure bliss. Wow, this is so beautiful. This is a very beautiful way of how the Guru imparts the divine knowledge when you have the faith in him. I will narrate a very beautiful story which I have experienced with my Krishna Guruji. It so happened that one of someone wanted to visit him. He wanted to know, he wanted to meet our Guruji, and he said, I want to come and meet him. I don't have a Guru. I don't know what it means to have a Guru, but I want to come and meet him. Now, he is an ardent devotee of Lord Shri Krishna. And he's like, I really want to know, because you all follow Lord Shri Krishna. So I want to know what your Krishna Guruji teaches. And he just came in. And my Guruji started just giving him certain understanding of what spirituality actually means and what does Lord Shri Krishna has imparted in Bhagavad Gita. So it was his first visit, and during that time, the person who was sitting there, he was like, oh, you know what, I don't know, I have read Bhagavad Gita, I read this scripture, I read that scripture, but I don't know what it is all about. I don't know what spirituality means, but I want to attain, the highest spiritual wheel. I don't know how to go about. He kept on saying. So Guruji just opened a random page from Bhagavad Gita and gave him a very interesting explanation. And then he said, every word from Bhagavad Gita has a very profound meaning. Till that word doesn't open up from the Guru's mouth, you cannot get that knowledge, and which is what he's saying. It's made easy of comprehension. So the moment my Guruji opened the first chapter and he just says, Dhritarashtra Vacha, he just said this word. It was like a eureka moment for the person opposite to my Guruji. And he's like, I understood. I didn't know this. Just the word, when my Guruji emphasized that one word, he was shocked because he understood the meaning of it. He's like, oh my God, I didn't even look at this. I always felt that this word is waste. And he said, it is because you have said that to me. That's why the knowledge opened up. That's how it works. Made easy of comprehension. It is only when the Guru imparts that knowledge, when he opens that word, he says that word, does that knowledge hit you? Otherwise it will not. That is why we say the Guru is the doorway to God. Without a Guru, you cannot attain the truth. We are not talking about the material worldly knowledge, or we are not talking about the concocted knowledges that everybody is trying to give about Bhagavad Gita and every other scripture. No, the profound truth, the truth is only imparted by the Guru alone. That is why we say Guru Sakshat Para Brahma, and we keep always missing this point, because when you look at them, they look at so ordinary. Oh, how can he give me this truth? That is how we judge. Do not judge that. And this is the greatness. I was amazed, and this person kept telling me, oh my God, I didn't know. That is so good. It's only a Guru's grace. That is the impact of how the Guru teach and how they impart the knowledge. But to the pure devotee, but to the one who has come with that faith. That is why here also Baba says, as is your faith, so are the experiences, and even the knowledge will open up accordingly. See, the knowledge is self. You have to open that. We say this, right? It's self-realization. Means you have to, within your own self, realize the truth. And that truth is realized because the divine one who's residing within is the one who's outside, who's giving you that knowledge and that grace. There's a direct connection there, because the both is one alone. And when that connection happens is when the knowledge opens, not otherwise. So let us now sing the praises of him, Sadguru, by whose darshan alone all the confusion of the mind caused by the illusions of duality between the mind and the soul is cleared. All the sensual desires cease, and Sanchit and Kriyaman are slowly destroyed. Sanchit and Kriyaman are the karmas, the futuristic. and the past, which we accumulate, so that which again we have to come here to repay. So all those karmas completely get destroyed. In the 8th chapter, the purpose of human birth has been related. In the 9th, we have heard about the inconceivable mystery behind Baba's vow of collecting alms. Baijabai's bhakri vegetable at noon, Baba's concern for Kushal Chandra's well-being, his sleeping in the company of Tatya, Malsapati, etc. has also been described, which has delighted the listeners. And now, O listeners, listen attentively to the following part of Baba's story, how he lived, where he slept, in what an incomprehensible manner he moved about. How praiseworthy was Baba's life to both Hindus and Muslims. He was a mother, a trusted refuge to a tiger and a goat alike, where both moved about in an atmosphere of fearlessness and mutual affection. So much for the business of living. Now listen respectfully, O listeners, to how Sai lived, where, at which place he slept, and so on. A wooden plank, 4 times an arm's length, wide as an outstretched palm, the measure of the thumb and the little finger. That's what he meant. This is all the width was. Extended, would be suspended from the rafter like a swing, fastened at both ends by piece of rags. On such a plank, Baba used to sleep. Earthen oil lamps burned at the head and the foot of his bed. No one ever understood when he climbed up or when he climbed down. He would either sit up there with head bent or would be sleeping on it. But when he climbed up or down from it, nobody ever saw him doing so. The plank was secured by strips of rags, but how did it balance Baba's weight? Well, when all the Mahasiddhis reside in you, is not the plank only for namesake? Where even the tiniest particle pricks the eye, a man who has attained the siddhi of anima, ability to reduce oneself to an atom, can hide quite comfortably in it. Hence Baba's power to move with ease in the form of a fly or a worm or an ant. He who has anima as his slave, will he take long transforming himself into a fly? And he who can stay suspended in mid-air, of what consequence is a wood plank to such a one? The Ashtasiddhis like Anima, Mahima, Laghima, etc. and the Navasiddhis stood by his side with folded hands. The plank was to him but an instrumental cause. Worms and ants, pigs and dogs, birds and even human beings, all great and small, kings and or paupers, he looked upon them all equally. Apparently, he resided in Shirdi, possessed nothing else except a physical frame measuring 3.5 cubits in length. Yet, Sai Maharaj, the storehouse of virtue, dwells in the hearts of all. This is so beautiful. You know, how they can do what they do is completely unfathomable. We don't know why they do also, and you cannot go and decipher it. And this is a most important lesson, is that they look upon everybody in an equal eye. They always are in that equipoise state. They have equanimity of mind. They do not judge. They do not react to how people talk, whatever they say. They're always in a blissful state. And they're compassionate, ever compassionate. Even when somebody is a wicked or a wretched, they still have the grace. You know what? The grace is on everybody. You know, you can take that grace and redeem yourself. The choice is in your hands. Yet, even when sometimes when they know you're a very good human being or you have a pure heart, but for whatever reason, you due to your past karmas or many of the previous karmas, you have born with certain nature which does not allow you to evolve. These divine beings absolve all those karmas and give you that redemption. That is who they are. And sometimes we don't understand why they do what they do. In Uddhav Gita, my Guruji has taught a very beautiful lesson. You should go and listen to the satsangs of Uddhav Gita on Krishna Knows. Please do so. There's a very beautiful and powerful lesson which my Guruji has taught in that. In that, my Guruji says, as per what Lord Shri Krishna has taught to Uddhava, he says that, there is a reason sometimes why the divine being does what they do. And in that, my Guruji says, I let people make those mistakes. I know they are making those mistakes, but I allow them to fall. The reason I allow them to fall is because that is how I will want to teach them. I want to kick them, I want to kick their butt and then teach them. Because till you do not fall, you don't understand that lesson, that you are not able to learn it. So fall is a must. It's not because they want you to fail. It is because you need to understand why you should not do that. Because the mind is a monkey. It doesn't want to listen to you. When you're told don't do, it will exactly go do what you're not supposed to do. So the divine being will always allow you to make those mistakes. They will allow you to make those faux pas. They're not going to correct you. Till you do not fall, till you don't burn your finger, you're never going to learn. And perfection doesn't come. It doesn't come. The spiritual perfection has to come. The knowledge has to, become one with you. It's not just listening the satsang. You have to first absorb. You have to imbibe the essence of that knowledge. And then when there is a test put on the path, then you have to implement. Means you have to be able to apply that lesson learned. And when you apply, then you'll understand, oh, I should not do this. But your mind is not going to allow you to do that the initial few times till you don't fall and learn. And once you understand, then you will say, okay, now stop. I don't want to do. Which means you have given the divine within the control to take charge and have trained the mind to listen to you. Otherwise, the mind is going to run like a wild horse. It's never going to listen to you. It's going to go around hither, giving you all the conflicting answers, conflicting things which you should not be doing. It's always going to pull you down. It's never going to allow you to rise above because it doesn't want you to control it. So this is how the divine works. Inwardly detached and ascetical, yet outwardly there was a strong urge to guide people on the right path. Totally desireless from within, forever there was a genuine attachment to the devotees from without. There was no expectation of fruit of action whatsoever in the innermost heart, but the desire for the welfare of the devotees that appear outwardly was genuine, an abode of eternal peace within, yet he exhibited anger occasionally. This is so beautiful. Let me explain this. The only goal the divine being has is the welfare of this entire universe and this creation. They care about everybody's well-being. I think from the day one we've started the Sai Satcharita. One lesson which I keep saying constantly, and even Baba is teaching constantly, is that they only have manifested, they have donned this body so that they can put everybody on the path of spiritual. They can guide them on the righteous path. They can establish the dharma and remove the adharma. Not just that, they want the welfare of everybody. They care about everybody's well-being. They are desireless beings. They don't have any desires. They are here to fulfill your desires. And that's why I say, do not go and hanker for petty things. Ask for the grace, for the spiritual wheel, for the spiritual knowledge. That is what will evolve you. And please seek for that faith, seek for that devotion, for the love and devotion. And that's what will always, save you from all this worldly life of birth and death. You don't want to get entangled in this miserable material worldly existence. It will redeem you. So when you're attached, and when you're attached to the lotus feet with love and devotion to the Guru, he will redeem you of all your sins. He will absolve everything. But the reason they are here is only to ensure your well-being and every other creation's well-being. Sometimes we have this very unique way to say things, oh, why is, this Guruji is entertaining this kind of a student? He's not even worthy. But who are we to make any judgment about anyone? There is a reason why that individual is there, but we don't know. I have experienced many a time, some of this, my Gurujis, there'll be a lot of people who will come to meet my Guruji, and he's ever compassionate. He'll exude a behavior. You can, sometimes he's more like a child, sometimes he's playing pranks, sometimes he's full of mischief, sometimes he's angry. And that anger is not real. It is just a way of an expression. They're just enacting a role. The anger is not real at all, but inside they're always in a blissful, loving state. What you experience outwardly is only a portrayal, because they want to teach. They don all of this, bhavs, or different qualities only to teach. But eternally, they're just in the perfect state of blissful state, that Sachidanand. They're always one with that self of theirs. That is who they are. And they do, like I said, the anger or whatever is just a portrayal. They are not at all angry. And the divine being can never be angry, never be biased, and they are not partial with anybody. Yes, some, like my Guruji tells, the right hand is used more than the left hand. So everybody has that little place in their life. Like example, even in Baba, they were like in the previous chapter was mentioned how dear was Malsapati or how dear was Tatya for whatever certain reason. They are always together because they are the closest ones and they take care of Sai Baba. So Baba has certain favorites. But that doesn't mean that their love for anybody is lesser. No. They give you the same care as what they give these devotees as well. So never judge a guru ever by how he behaves, how he portrays himself, because you don't know what they are doing. And every word from the guru's mouth is gospel truth alone. Even if he's saying in a funny manner, that fun is also very profound. And this is something I keep reiterating, because many a time I get carried away in the fun that my Guruji will make, and then I make a faux pas. Then I'm like, oh no, you're saying the truth, but in a very funny way. The way how the sages say things is never understood by the human mind. The human mind doesn't have that ability. So don't judge, but just take it at that whatever the Guruji is saying, and go deep into it and do that. And that will make you evolve on your path of spirituality. One with God always at times he showed gaulish tendencies outwardly. Firmly committed to non-duality within, he was yet involved in the complexities of the world. Exactly what he spoke. They behave in a weird manner and you just cannot understand. Oh my God, why did he behave like this? But we are nobody to judge. There is a reason why they do what they do. My Guruji is always jovial. He keeps joking and he talks about many things. Why? Because he wants to impart that knowledge to us. He wants us to understand what's happening. He gives us the right understanding. So his way of imparting a knowledge is in a very weird manner. And if you think he's talking something stupid, that is my mind which is making judgment. But he's actually not saying anything stupid, but he's teaching you a very important lesson that you need to know, which will help you evolve in your world. Sometimes he treated people with great affection. Sometimes he charged at them, stone in hand. There was a volley of curses and abuses on occasions, as there was an embrace of blissful joy on other occasions. Okay, this is another very beautiful thing. Many a time my Guruji will suddenly, he will not shout, but he will say, you've not done this, you've not done that, and will give a peace of mind to me. And I would always wonder, oh my God, what is he saying? Why is he saying? I didn't understand. And then I realized, oh my God, it is not to me, the divine being, the self, but he's saying it to my mind to say, you better buck up and you don't act funny with me. So the reason why they say certain things, you don't understand. And in this, it's given, sometimes he abuses or volley of, it said, volley of curses. When a Guruji, gives you that curses or, he gives you galis, he gives you a tight, slap, you should be very blessed. Only some good merit you must have done to get those, the scolding from him, or, he, holding your, ear and saying, you better buck up and, caning you to, not to death, but at least to, make you understand. It is very important. And if you can achieve this with your Guruji, I think you've done some great, you've done a great favor to yourself. You've come with some meritorious deeds from your past lives. And that is why the Guruji is beating you and scolding you. That is his blessing. You will evolve. But remember one thing. When your Guruji praises you, you're sure to fall down. Never take his praise, but always take him saying, oh, you've not done this right. You've not done this right. Because when he praises you, your fall is down and you're never going to evolve ahead, because your mind will stop growing at that moment in time. So always be grateful to those people, who who are going to tell you that you're not doing right, they're constantly telling you how to do better. They are the good people in your life, but don't fall for sweet talks. Sweet talkers never trust. Actually, Baba is going to teach a very important lesson in I think in some of the chapters it's mentioned. He'll say, somebody who criticizes you, you should be very thankful to that person, because they are the stepping stone because of whom you will grow in this world. You will evolve, because they're not letting you stop. They're challenging you and they're telling you you're not fit enough. Whatever they're criticizing you, right? That will make you rise. So you always be very grateful to such people in life. Many a time, such people are there even in my world. And sometimes I wonder, I hate this person. This person is saying this to me. My Guruji will say very beautifully, you know what? You should be very thankful to that person. And because of that person, you will grow. So never discount this. And don't take anybody that they are trying to get even with you, or they're trying to say some bad things at you. You should be grateful to such people. Such is the Guru's grace as well. When he's constantly telling you you're not doing good, you're not done this, you're not done this, he's driving you up the wall. You must be very grateful to that. I'm sharing this my own experience. My Guruji drives me up the wall. He will say, no, you're not good, you've not done this, where is your timing? I love him for that, because tomorrow when he's gone, when he's not there in the body, but he's always with me. He's never gone. He's never leaving me. But when he's physically not there to say those words, I will remember those words, because I know that is what has made me who I am and who I will be tomorrow. You have to be very grateful and thankful for such a Guru if you have one in your life. And I am very grateful to my Guruji, because if it's not for him, I am not sitting here today doing this Sai Satcharita Parayana and these words coming from my mouth. It is, I somehow feel it's a blessing for me. Also, as I'm teaching, or as these words are coming from my mouth, I'm learning myself too. So there is no end to learning. You learn as long as this body is there. You learn to eternity. So take this lesson as a very important lesson and be very grateful and evolve. So never get angry or get irritated and bring your mind when somebody is teaching you and saying you should do this like this, you should do it like this. They only want your good. The reason they say this is because they care for you. Rest of them don't matter. People who just say, oh, you're very good, you're the perfect, don't fall for it, because they're just pandering to your ego. They are not doing good to you. You can never evolve. So don't let your ego get pandered. Always say, I can perfect. You know what my Guruji will say? If you have achieved today, if your yardstick is today say 50%, the moment you reach there, you have to increase your bar. So there is no way, there is no stopping to learning. This is how the great divine being teach, and nobody else can teach. No mentors in this, nobody in the material world has that amount of patience and strength to put in that much of effort on you so that you could become that, Parasmani yourself. That is who these great beings are, and be very grateful. And don't leave one opportunity that you have to learn from them. You must be blessed, because if you have that Guru and you have that opportunity, please learn. Perfect. Don't waste this time. Time is precious. Time is Lord himself. Always self-engrossed, sitting still in one asana posture, without the botheration of going or coming here and there, with his baton as the treasured staff of a sannyasin. He was indeed a quite peaceful existence, free from worldly cares, without the least desire for wealth or fame, and alms collection as the sole means of subsistence. He passed his days in his yogic state of withdrawal of all the senses from the attraction of sensual pleasures. He dressed exactly like a yati sannyasin, with his baton serving as a sannyasin staff in his hand. On his lips were the words Allah Malik repeatedly, and for the devotees, his love and affection flowed constantly. Such was the physical manifestation of Sai, who had appeared in human form. Only by our accumulated past merit has this treasure come so unexpectedly to our hands. This is exactly what it's saying. They have nothing to achieve. They have nothing to gain. And if you look at it, constantly in their lip, it's the words Allah Malik. I have to say a very beautiful thing. My Guruji's heartbeat says the word of the divine. Once when I was going to get initiated, the initiation happened in a very strange manner. He said, just rest your ear on my chest, and listen to tell me what can you hear. And I was amazed. I heard the chanting of the Lord's name. I was shocked. I've actually written about this. You can go and read one of my articles in the journey with my master on Krishna Knows. You can go read this article. So I have said how I have got initiated. And even today, sometimes I wanted to see if that's still there. And on and off when I do it, I can only hear the chant of the divine. That is the heartbeat. They have nothing else. They are the purest of the beings. They don't have anything within them except the constant chant of the Almighty Lord. Such is the greatest of these beings. And if you have the company of them, evolve. You must be definitely blessed to be in their company. Like I always say, I'm very grateful. There is something that His grace is there, that I am with my Guruji. I'm getting to learn from him. Please value this. And even if you want to come and meet him and get that knowledge, get that little learning from him. Not just that, meeting these divine beings, just being in their presence and getting acquainted itself is a big deal. That itself is a huge grace. Do not lose this opportunity of being in the company of such holy beings. Those who thought of him as just another human being were indeed dull-witted and unfortunate. Strange is their destiny. For how will they enjoy the rare good fortune? Sai is a mine of self-knowledge, filled with pure joy is Sai's person. Cling to him for protection instantly, to be able to cross over the ocean of worldly life safely. Exactly what I said. Those who make judgments about him, talk bad about him, he doesn't have to do anything. You don't understand. All the Ashtasiddhis and the entire universe, the gods and goddesses are waiting to serve this divine being. They are constantly saying Tatastu. The moment you make one faux pas, he is not going to do anything. His universe is going to do something to you. So beware. The universe is watching you. So don't dare not, open your mouth and make a faux pas. Even by jest. In Bhagavad Gita, Lord Shri Krishna has said, in that Arjuna says, "Oh Lord Krishna, please forgive me. I have, in jest, I have called you, oh Madhava, whatever." He's just called him in a very, disrespectfully. So please do not do that. You're not allowed to do that. But we think we have all the right to, talk whatever comes to our mouth. I'm sorry, it's not that. You can't even make a funny comment saying Bhagavad Gita for cookery. Who has given you the right to say that? You think what Bhagavad Gita is some fun book, is it? Bhagavad Gita for cookery. Who the hell you think you are to say that? Don't make such mockery. People say whatever comes to their mind. Please be very careful. His universe is listening and you know not what kind of a slap you might get. So be careful. The divine beings are compassionate. They are always loving. They understand how stupid, these human beings are. They are ignorant. They are personification of ignorance. They are filled with only the, the grim, all the sheets of layers of coverings they have. He understands that. And that is why he's saying, evolve using that opportunity of having this holy company. Don't waste it. Because every time when you talk something stupid, you're wasting his time and your time. There is no progress happening. I have made that mistake as well. Sometimes we talk about the worldly things. In my past, when I didn't understand who this guru is, I made the small silly mistake of talking some material worldly. That, I had a problem with my boss. Oh, Guruji, I don't know what to do. No, it's not worthy enough because this world itself is an unreal. What boss, what thing. You have to just enact a role. Just go with the flow. Do your job. Surrender unto the lotus feet of the divine and just do what you got to do. He takes care of everything. What has to come to you will anyways come to you. You have to go through your prarabdha karma. There is no way escaping from that. But when you have the grace of the guru, the karmas are cushioned. Know that much. So whatever the huge impact could have happened, it's only 10% you're facing it. So face it. Life is about learning. There is nothing to be afraid of. Fearlessness is the most important word here. So you can face that and evolve. That is what it is. That is what we have to do. When we have this beautiful company of the divine, don't waste time. Think about your progress, evolve, learn, work hard, do what they are teaching. Because there is no parents, not even your mother, father, nobody in the world, friend, will teach what they teach and drive you to doing and making you to become somebody great. When I say great, not the material worldly fame and all, a divine being. They will put you on the path of becoming sattva, because only through sattva can you go to Lord Shri Krishna. Lord Shri Krishna himself has said this in Bhagavad Gita and every other scriptures. So you name it, Srimad Bhagavatam, Uddhav Gita, everything in that he teaches. Only through sattva can you attain the divine. Only then the love and devotion will develop. So use this opportunity to be your good self. The most constant, undifferentiated Supreme Spirit, which is personified in Baba, is boundless and infinite and fills this entire universe from Brahma right down to a tiny shell. The time span of the Kali Yuga is 4,32,000 years. After about 5,000 years had lapsed, Baba incarnated on this earth. Listeners may raise a doubt here that without knowing Baba's birth date, on what grounds could this period be fixed? So listen attentively now. So we've come to the end of the hour. So we'll stop here and we'll continue the next story. Not tomorrow. Tomorrow we have Krishna Janmashtami. So we will not be having Sai Satcharita Parayana. We will let you know the time of our puja. In case you wish to join, you can join us online. We'll let you know. Okay. So thank you. We will see you on Wednesday at 7 p.m. Thank you for joining today. I hope you had enjoyed a lovely lesson. And wishing you a very happy Krishna Janmashtami in advance. Let us join back for the Sai Satcharita Parayan on Wednesday. You have a very good evening. Thank you all. Om Shri Mahaganapate Namaha. Om Shri Gurudev Datta. Om Shri Sachidananda Sadguru Sainath Maharaj Ki Jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Digambara Digambara Shripad Vallabha Digambara. Om Shri Krishna Gurunathanata Shri Guruve Namaha. Om Devi Durgaya Namaha. Om Shri Krishna Arpanam Namastu. Krishnam Vande Jagat Gurum.